Tonight, a brand new age began in Oxford as Ole Miss welcomed home a new leader, head coach Lane Kiffin. After 3 seasons with the Rebels, the Matt Luke era has ended at Ole Miss. Coach Kiffin signing on to a 4-year deal through 2023 with Ole Miss, agreeing to that deal for $16.2 million. Next up, Kiffin saying is just meeting with his new team as well as making some decisions on who his assistant coaches may be. There was so much excitement for Mississippi State after clinching its 6th win and earning a postseason appearance to the Music City Bowl. Fast forward to the Music City Bowl, the momentum that the Bulldogs may have had ending their regular season didn't stay with them too long. The Bulldogs started off hot, scoring 2 touchdowns by early in the second quarter. However, come halftime, the momentum switched to Louisville, the Cardinals coming out of the break and scoring 31 unanswered points. After suffering 2 straight losses for the first time since 2017, Mississippi State head coach Vic Schaefer calling out his team's immaturity. A minute later in the matchup, center Yamaya Morris in the paint, fighting her way inside, gets it to go. It's 10-9 Bulldogs. A few seconds left in the half. Forward Chloe Bibby with the offensive rebound. Out to guard Andra Espinoza-Hunter. Bottoms. Mississippi State leads 30-25 at halftime. Coach Moorhead finishes his 2nd season as head coach with 2 postseason appearances. However, also 2 postseason losses. Now going forward, Moorhead must think about his 6 and 7 losing season as he prepares for year number 3. By the time the Mississippi State Bulldogs take the field for the Music City Bowl, it will have been a grand total of 33 days since State has played a football game. There's 2 ways to look at the time off. Either it's a good thing or a bad thing. MSU head coach Joe Moorhead saying the extra time off falls more on the beneficial side of things. Picked up by defensive back Trayvon Diggs. Watch the man run. A 100-yard return for the touchdown. We go back to early November at the beginning. So much uncertainty surrounding the Bulldogs and whether or not they would make it to a postseason appearance and continue that 10-game bowl streak. Well, now that we're standing here, we know that it did in fact happen. Mississippi State getting ready to take on the Louisville Cardinals in the Music City Bowl. Normally, Mississippi State and cowbells are a package deal, except in the case of the Music City Bowl. West Point in scoring position. The first pass of the game fakes out everyone. Wide receiver Corbin Kelly to tight end TJ Anderson. West Point takes the 14-7 lead right before halftime. You know the deal by now. Sheffield back to pass, no one open, takes it himself. 30 yards to the end zone he goes. 5 first-half drives, 5 touchdowns for Corn. A week ago, head coach Lane Kiffin was officially introduced at Ole Miss. As of today, Kiffin adds 2 more coaches to his staff. Ole Miss Athletics announcing the additions of offensive line coach Randy Clements and special teams coordinator Blake Gideon. Another huge playmaker for Mississippi State this season has been junior running back Kylan Hill. In that matchup against Kentucky, he had 26 carries for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. That amount of work, head coach Joe Moorhead says he thinks Kylan can handle for the remainder of the season. Tungavaloa, play action fake. Connects with wide receiver Henry Ruggs, a dime pass for a 45-yard gain. Right now, Ole Miss is trying to fine-tune its NCAA tournament resume, so a win against a top 10 team at this point in the season would be huge. Next at the plate, Robel Garcia cranks one out, an RBI triple into center field, makes it a 2-zip game for Chicago. Oregon was just one of 2 teams to deliver the Bulldogs one of its only 2 losses on its season, but Mississippi State saying that game back in December just wasn't them. Ethan Small will be starting on the mound, and that should give fans some assurance considering that we remember what he did last weekend against Central Michigan. 10 strikeouts in his 6 innings pitching. One of the most exciting moments for any high school athlete is receiving an offer to the next level. While signing those letters of intent has traditionally been on National Signing Day, February 5th. With the early signing period coming up Wednesday, December 18th, some players will be making an important decision this week. The road from recruiting to committing can be anything but easy. It's one of the most competitive aspects of college football. And we're not talking about the X's and O's of what happens on the gridiron.
I'll be signing Wednesday, either Ole Miss, Alabama, or Auburn.
We're talking about recruiting. Each year, coaches spend early mornings, late evenings, and weekends on the recruiting trail, all in hopes of securing the best talent in the state and in the country.
We've dominated it, working hard to keep our third consecutive top 25 class.
Had a meeting with a recruit last night, and then I think 8 o'clock or something last night, and then had another one starting at 6:30 a.m. today.
For the most part, football coaches have until February 5th to win over potential talent. However, with players opting to sign during the early period on December 18th, the timeline for coaches has shortened. Mississippi State head coach Joe Moorhead has spent plenty of time on the recruiting trail, ringing the bell and building his future roster.
And all 4 corners of the state, and a bunch of others, highways, dirt roads, Delta, Coast, it's been awesome. Great reception from the coaches, great reception from the kids and their parents, and quite frankly, every gas station you pop in or store to get a Diet Dew and a bag of chips, there's maroon and white everywhere. And
Coach Moorhead already has commitments from Brandon quarterback Will Rogers and D'Iberville wide receiver Jaden Wally, just to name a couple. Ole Miss head football coach Lane Kiffin is in a different boat. After only taking over as the Rebels' new leader on December 8th, Kiffin has to work quick to maintain former head coach Matt Luke's commits. While the Rebels have seen a few losses since Luke's untimely departure, others, like Winona quarterback and Darius Coffey, don't mind the sudden coaching change.
He's going to bring a lot of excitement to the school, change a lot of things around. I was really signed to play for Ole Miss. I never just looked at playing for a coach. I was just looking at playing for the school.
For Coach Kiffin, building a solid roster starts from the ground up.
They're not going to all be 5-stars, so developing the bottom of the roster so they can be productive and help us play.
For Division I, high school football players have from December 18th through December 20th to sign during the early period. Those going D1 that are waiting until National Signing Day will have from that day on February 5th through April 1st, whereas those going Division II can sign from the 5th through August 1st of 2020.